In this chapter, we see how insanely strong the God's Knights are. It's crazy, making even Jinbei look useless. We get more crazy information about the imminent final Great War and the end of the world. We get more Luffy and Loki and much more in this insane chapter, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Chill the Pirate King within and smash that like button if you like seeing these reviews on the channel and want to keep them coming. If you haven't, make this the video you join the Nakama by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss future One Piece reviews and updates. And now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. So this chapter is called Movement Amidst Stillness, and we get an update of Yamato's cover story where a tearful and thankful Ulti vows to become a loyal servant of Yamato. So like Oden, Yamato is finding notable followers, her own scabbards if you will. Chances are that Page 1 will join Yamato too, since I don't see the two, meaning Page 1 and Ulti, not sticking together. So quite a great group she's got already, and I look forward to seeing who else she recruits. Moving on to the chapter proper, and it starts where we left off with Gunko confronting the Colin pirates, aka Colin, Brook, Nami, Jinbei, and Usopp. Usopp asks, "Who are you?" Jinbei says stoically, "So you are ... and Nami finishes the sentence saying, "One of the intruders." Colin realizes that Gunko is one of those responsible for kidnapping the children. She's called an intruder from the human race, the ones who did that to the castle guards. And we see a great perspective shot of her looking down on them from above. Very in tune with how she feels, as we're going to get into. We also see how giant even a giant child like Colin is compared to the humans. Gunko corrects them though, saying they're not human, but gods. This is very much in alignment with how celestial dragons talk, as we know, and like I said, it goes well with her talking down to them from a high position. Usopp even points that out, saying gods. She's talking just like Enel and the celestial dragons. Nami asks, "What do gods want with the kids of Elbaf?" and Colin says, "Yeah, they're my friends. Where do you think you're taking them? Bring them back." Meanwhile, Gunko says, "Watch your mouth, brat," to him. We briefly see Frankie doing well with stopping the Nightmare Stormcloud, and Ripley, Lilith, and Bonnie cheering him on. Gunko wishes they could have abducted them, but notes that with the size of the kids, the only choice was to have them walk on their own and to escort them along the most appropriate route to the Holy Land. So she dropped a big reveal to her enemies here, but she probably feels confident that they can't do anything about it, even if they know what they're planning. And honestly, that's pretty crazy considering it's 4 Straw Hats and Colin against just one God's Knight. This is definitely the next caliber of villain groups. Nami responds, "Holy Land, Marijoa." Jinbei says, "Don't tell me you're a celestial dragon," and Usopp says, "What? You're one of those guys, huh? Wait a second. You don't look like the ones we've seen." And Brook is the one who puts 2 and 2 together, saying, "I think she's even higher up than that. Maybe part of the God's Knights." To which Gunko responds, "Indeed." At first, Usopp is angry, saying, "You want the little runts to turn them into slaves?" ? But fear quickly takes over as he sees Gunko's arrow power heading over to him. And he screams and says, "What the heck is this arrow?" Honestly, after seeing what a similar arrow did to Cobra, I think he's probably right to be worried. Nami is the first one to attack, saying, "I won't let this happen, Zeus." Zeus appears as Usopp is still running from the arrow and complaining that it's following him. Nami launches the move Thunder Shark Tempo and sends it at Gunko, only for Gunko to use her overpowered arrow powers to send it right back at her, meaning Nami, like she just played a Mirror Force trap card. Gunko talks casually as she's supposed to be fighting. She says, "One day the world was simply going to disappear." Or at least that's what was supposed to happen. Zeus interrupts to tell Nami to run. Now it seems like he hit her and he rains tears apologizing. However, we quickly figure out the attack hit Brook instead, and we hilariously see Nami giving a thumbs up, showing she's safe and sound. Since Brook is a skeleton, it wasn't too bad for him to experience, and he gives a thumbs up too. Gunko continues with her end of the world dialogue, saying, however, a portion of the humans realized this and made it known to the world. As her speech is going on, the others are actually trying to have a fight. Usopp actually has a moment of glory, however short-lived, when he launches a deadly explosive attack that takes half of Gunko's body with it. He says, "Take that. Don't think we're scared of celestial dragons, you bastard." Honestly, a really cool moment for Usopp. The only problem is, in the very next few panels, Gunko starts regenerating fast, like the Gorosei, showing that she clearly also has any Emu regeneration boost that the Gorosei did. And the arrow really does look a lot like the one that got Cobra, so I wonder if that was Emu borrowing Gunko's power or what. Maybe they get Emu boost and Emu gets to use their Devil Fruit powers as well for themselves when necessary. I'm not totally sure, but it would definitely be fittingly overpowered for a big bad boss like Emu to have so many powers at their disposal. At first, everyone thinks Usopp overdid it, even Usopp. He's asked if it was really necessary, and Usopp is in tears saying half her body's gone, I'm sorry. But then everyone pulls a 180 when they see the regeneration going on. Nami says, what? I felt bad for her, but she's regenerating, this is freaky. Brook hilariously says, that's right, coming back to life is something bizarre. His humor always gets me, one of the, if not the funniest Straw Hats for me, no doubt. Let me know who your funniest Straw Hat is in the comments if you have one. Once Gunko's face and mouth are regenerated and she can continue talking, she does. She says, completely unfazed by the fact that she just lost like half of her body a few seconds ago, now that it's come to this, there's no stopping it anymore. That panel where half of her face is yet to be regenerated hits so hard, such an epic moment. She says no one can stop it now, as she uses her arrow like a skater uses a skateboard, except she does it in midair going any direction she wants to. Usopp freaks out because of the arrow again and says that thing goes straight for the target, doesn't it? Then it seems like the Straw Hats are about to finally turn the tables when Jinbei gets serious. It's funny how Nami even tries to stop the arrow by grabbing it and trying to pull it back. Jinbei says, leave it to me, Usopp, and Brook says, knowing exactly where the blow will land, it's the pinnacle of absurdity. It's like a countdown. Gunko continues, an enormous battle that will engulf the world is about to begin. When that time comes, whoever the giants choose to side with will drastically change the course of the war. So that pretty much tells you what they're doing. They want to kidnap the kids and use them as hostages to get the giants to do their bidding and side with them during the war because they are a very useful military asset. As if to confirm this, Oda shows Dory and Broggy making easy work of some of the giant nightmare creatures. We also catch up with Luffy and Loki, who similarly have gotten their fills of food, and it's definitely Oda's way of saying they are now ready to go and enter the battle, at the very least in the next chapter, hopefully. Nami then says, a war involving the whole world? Yeah, right. Like that's ever gonna happen. And Jinbei says, so that's why you want Elbaf under your control, and you're using the children as hostages? That's disgusting. And it's true, not that the celestial dragons at large have ever been concerned about behaving in a disgusting manner, but still true. Gunko gives us some more information about her and her life philosophy. She says, I do this out of duty alone, but in the end, it may be pointless. The lives of those children are nothing but trash to me. The concept of a hostage means nothing. And then Colin is the one that says, you've got to screw loose or what, lady? We then get an epic sequence of panels. First, she wraps Colin with the arrow and chokes him, another crazy use of her OP power. Jinbei prepares to launch an attack and Brook too, only for two arrows to redirect their attacks into each other. It's crazy how quickly she deals with everyone, although they probably aren't down for good, especially Jinbei. Next, she sends Nami flying with a kick and then she knees Usopp in the face brutally. It's absolutely crazy how in a split second it seems like she deals with 5 opponents expertly. We then hear, well, is everything ready, Killingham? So Elbaf does have a very limited communication network, that's true, but it seems there are strategic points in each village. Director Kiba. We see Killingham and he says, I need something really hard and full of spikes, and then when it's manifested, he hits the director with it as the others cry out. Ange says she can't move and Killingham says, I just put your body into sleep mode, you know? So he seems no less OP than Gunko, breezing through his opponents in the same way. He asks, this big guy here, right? Never heard of a Dengo Mushi before. Summers, try saying something through the Den Mushi. Pretty sure everyone in Elbaf can hear you. And then we hear him say, got it. But he says, sorry, hold on, I'm almost done with this one. He says that the ex-Marine Vice Admiral was supposed to have died on Ohara. Saul is clearly not in good shape when we see him, and he wants Robin and Chopper to not come out but hide behind his hair. Robin and Chopper are trying to stay quiet, but it's messed up again to think about because we saw how strong Robin is in Wano with her new form and everything. If she knows off the bat that trying to help is useless, again, it really shows how crazy powerful all these guys are. Saul leaves the kids in their care, so that's part of it probably. They want to make sure that they can save the kids, but still, crazy that Robin didn't try to help Saul. We then see a bunch of thorn vines all over the place like we're watching Sleeping Beauty if you watch that old Disney movie. Summers even yells timber as Saul falls in defeat. So he always has humor about the darkest things, and even takes joy in it, as we know. Robin is, no surprise, heartbroken after that amazing reunion a few chapters back where she finally got Saul back. Then we get something big that I've been talking about for a while, and it seems to be confirmed in black and white now. Summers says, school, library, cut the peace and learning crap, you're warriors. There was a time when giants shook this world with sheer brute strength. You'll become our mercenary soldiers. Isn't that right, King Harold? Harold, that bastard, he really screwed it up this time, end quote. And then the narrator says, wasn't he supposed to be a glorious and radiant king, question mark? So if you guys have been following these reviews of mine, you'd know that for a long time I was questioning his status as a glorious king, and a good king, as people have been saying, and finally the narrator has caught up to this. But as I've been saying, it's more likely than ever that Harold had some kind of agreement with the world government, and that's probably why there's a summoning circle in the castle in the first place. Loki is not only not as bad as it seemed, something I've also been emphasizing since pretty much his introduction, but he's probably the unsung hero who stopped his father when he found out about the corrupt world government stuff. So the thing he's blamed for most was probably actually his most heroic act, really, but I'm sure Oda will spell it out even more as we go on. Let me know how you like this chapter. What are you most excited for in the next one? And if you did enjoy this review, then you don't want to miss this one, link on screen right now, where I go back to the very first chapter where it all began and break down how Oda predicted everything that was going to happen since that point, and even beyond where we're at right now in some cases. But anyways, like and subscribe for more One Piece, and I'll see you in the next one.